Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and hello if you're new. Make sure that you subscribe before you leave, that way you'll never miss out on another pick a card reading. I do one on my channel every single Friday. Okay, so today's pick a card reading is a little bit different because I have some candy here, and it has to do with the theme of today's reading, which is about your childhood. So any messages that need to come up, anything we need to just hear about our childhood is going to be this reading's theme. So what I'm gonna need you to do is pick a card group number or a candy that you are most drawn to. So card group number 1 or the Kit Kat Mint, card group number 2 or Hershey's Cookies and Cream, card group number 3 or Reese's or Recess White Cream, or card group number 4, White Chocolate Kit Kat. So go ahead and pick which one you're drawn to, which one is calling out to you. And while you do that, I do want to let you guys know that there is a sale going on in my Etsy shop, and I do have a few new oils coming up soon, so stay tuned for those. I'm working on those behind the scenes. I'm really excited, and yeah, I can't wait to share that with you. But now let's get into our childhood. So let's get started with the reading. For everybody that picked card group number 1 or the Kit Kat Mint, let's go ahead and get into the reading. The first card we have here is Santa Muerte showing her presence with her card, the Holy Death card. This is a card where it signifies the death of something. It could have been a person, maybe you suffered a loss in your childhood, or definitely you did experience some form of loss. Maybe your parents got divorced, maybe you were really attached to something or someone and they left or they moved away, but definitely there was a loss you experienced during your childhood that in turn in your adult life gave you this habit of trying to please people. So I mean, there was a lot of frustration in your life because you wanted to make sure that you made other people happy so they stayed in your life. You wanted to make sure that everybody outside of you was satisfied and pleased and taken care of and like okay. And you did this because it stemmed from that childhood self where you became afraid to lose something or someone. And it also made you set a lot of limits. Because of that fear, you wouldn't allow yourself sometimes to even get close to people as much as there was potential to get close. You also set limits of, how many people you let into your life. You set limits of what you give yourself in life because of this fear of losing it. So the card we have right next to that is stepping into power. You are strong beyond measure. So this is very similar to the Fool card in tarot, and the Fool card is all about stepping into unknown territory. So I do see that what's going on with you right now in your current situation is you stepping into your power and letting go of these frustrations and habits that this loss in your childhood created. Not only are you stepping into your own power, you're realizing your own strength, but you are also surrendering yourself to passion and pleasure. This is like the three of Cups, I believe it is. Yeah, I think it's 3 of Cups in tarot, which is all about celebration. It's okay for you to celebrate. It's okay to embrace the good parts of life. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to celebrate all your accomplishments, all your achievements. And these don't have to do with like the material world. You should be celebrating the fact that you went through so much deep things in your childhood, and you're stepping out of it into your own power now. And not only that, but it's time for you to celebrate your life now. Let the good stuff in. It's no longer necessary for you to be afraid. Another thing I do see here that you're being kind of called to do is to use your hands and watch movies. So this is calling for you to get creative with your hands. So maybe during your childhood, you really liked to use your hands to make things like painting, maybe you like to play with Play-Doh. Maybe you liked to, I don't know, play with Barbies, play with Hot Wheels. That proves how old I am. But use your hands to create movement in your life. So use your hands to do something artistic so that you are getting rid of a lot of stagnant energy. And the stagnant energy had a lot to do with frustration, setting limits on yourself, and like really obsessively trying to please other people. So I do feel like using your hands is going to help you in your physical world, because it's going to be grounding you and make you not so much in your head. The card we have right next to that is watch a movie. Okay, so the fact that we have the watch a movie card right under the Holy Death card, is there something that you watched or you saw during your childhood that like really instilled a lot of fear in you? I also see that, and that could have also been creating these things too. So you're being called to watch movies now that get out of your comfort zone when it comes to movies. I really feel a calling for you to start watching different kinds of movies, different genres, different themes, about different things. I do feel like you have this mind that likes to explore, but you were too afraid to let it explore. So now the universe is like, hey, watch a movie, explore your mind through watching movies, and start there. Start small. The Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. So okay, that's a little confusing. Let me see what cards are right next to that. Oh, okay, so we have a breakthrough, and then, okay, so movies. You watching movies is going to inspire or invoke an idea within you. So an idea that you've carried for lifetimes. So it might bring up a passion of yours. You might see something in a movie that just ignites fire within you and you just get really excited. Or you might see a place in a movie that you're so drawn to that you start planning a trip over there. Or you know what I'm saying? Like something's gonna spark within you. So watch movies as much as you can. Movies that you're drawn to, movies that you aren't drawn to. Because it's going to spark something in you that it's been with you for lifetimes and lifetimes. Now, what that's going to do is create a breakthrough for you to surrender a lot of your frustration. Now, I see a lot of frustration in your life, and it does stem from this fear that was instilled within you during your childhood. We have a lot of red here, so that's a lot of fiery, feisty energy. So you handle fear with anger. I see that as well. So there is a breakthrough going to happen, or it's probably already happening. You're going through this awakening right now where you're breaking free from all of this childhood stuff. And the card we have next to it is ripeness. So the number 9 in ripeness. Number 9 is the number of holy death. It's the number of letting go and releasing and letting something die and letting something be released so that something new can come forth. So definitely that is something that is going on. Sometimes when we have a spiritual awakening, so many things and so many thoughts are going on in our mind that it's hard for us to step outside and look at our situation from like a third party. And that's so important. And I do feel like that's kind of what's going on with you right now, is you're able to step back and look at your situation and pinpoint what you need to do and where you need to do it. Now, I also see that you're receiving guidance from the universe, from Santa Muerte herself. So pick up on the messages, channel the messages that are coming to you, pay attention to songs, numbers, messages, like anywhere, you know, repeating songs, repeating numbers, repeating words, smell, scent, animals that cross your path, anything and everything, your dreams, because I do see that you are channeling messages, but you won't completely allow yourself to step into your own power and listen to them. Okay, so the next card we have here is letting go and moment to moment. So you're learning now to live moment to moment, where I feel like you've lived your entire life either in the past or in the future. So with all of this breakthrough happening, you're living moment to moment, and your life is becoming ripe instead of like dull and dead and lifeless and colorless, but now there's color coming back. You see how you're going to start enjoying it. You're gonna have a pep in your step, and you're really gonna start to live in this moment because you're letting go of the stuff that happened in your childhood that created fear. Now, we have here the Seven of Swords. Okay. This is a symbol of you coming out of a very dark period of your life. Now, also, another thing is, if you see, he has 7 nails on the ground because he's ready to seal this coffin up. He's gotten out of it, and it was dark, and he had that moment of reflection in there. Now, when he was in there and this was closed, all he saw was hope and reflection. That was the goal of this dark period. And now he's sitting outside of it. So he's come out of it. Now he's ready to bolt that shut, and everything that was needing to be let go, everything that was limited to you, everything that was frustrating you, you're gonna seal it and you are going to leave it behind. And you're moving forward into your heart chakra. So you are listening, but you need to hear with a loving heart. So you know what you want, but now you're stepping into your power where you're going to be able to enjoy every moment, let go of the past, really, really celebrate yourself and your life and your accomplishments, and open up your heart chakra. So you're gonna let love in, you're gonna feel love and embrace it and experience it in such beautiful ways. Now, Kit Kat, mint plus chocolate. So you have the best of both worlds. You are accepting your duality, your dual nature, the yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine. You are merging the two. When you merge the two, you find this inner peace and this inner balance. And then that's really funny though, that this is green. Okay, and then we have black. So green is the color of our heart chakra, and we ended your card with we ended your reading with the heart chakra card. So very interesting reading. I hope that this gave you a little bit of clarity. If you guys want to book a reading with me, go ahead and book on my Etsy shop, and I'll talk to you really, really soon. Bye. For everybody that picked card group number 2 or the cookies and cream, let's go ahead and see what comes up in your reading. The first card we have here is One of Wands. Okay, so in your childhood, I see that you were very creative. You had ideas on ideas on ideas. Like, your mind and your imagination was your power. It was something that made you popular. It was something that drew people to you. And I see that you got a lot of attention for your artistic ways and just your creative ways to do things. You gained a lot of attention, and yeah, I feel like you were the talk of the family. Like, even maybe your cousins, brothers, and sisters kind of got a little bit jealous because you were so talented, you were so skillful, and it was something that made you feel good, it made you feel confident, it made you feel happy, and it gave you your power. Now, the card right next to that is stubbornness, surrender, stubbornness. So I do see that there was maybe like you felt a little superior to your siblings and your cousins and stuff because, you knew you were good. You knew you had something. You knew you were special, and you knew you were worth something. Like, you knew your value as a child. And it did kind of make you a little bit stubborn, where you kind of did probably bully people maybe. But I do see that that was a part of you where sometimes, during childhood, we can develop habits that carry on with us in adulthood. So I do feel like this stubbornness you kind of carried on into your adult life, where when you're doing something and you know you're good at it, you believe in yourself, you have faith in yourself about that, you don't want to hear anything from anyone else. Like, you don't want to hear criticism. You don't want to hear, even if it's constructive criticism. If somebody doesn't like your work, you do take it to heart. It does mess with you. And yeah, like, I do feel like you don't feel so understood because of the things that you're interested in, the things that you like, the lifestyle you want to live. You do feel like you're in the dark and nobody really understands and nobody really accepts it. But I do see that that comes from your childhood because you were so accepted as a child and like, you know, people were drawn to you and you believed in your talents so much as a child that now in your adult life, when you do something and you think that you did such a good job at it and somebody kind of like has a reaction that you didn't expect, you do get a little stubborn and maybe a little bit defensive and you take it personally, like you feel attacked, you know, because that's your work, that's something you created and stuff like that. This doesn't have to be necessarily do with just work. It could be you creating you know, your relationship, you creating your home, you're creating your life, your lifestyle, your mentality, your spirituality. It could be anything. And the card right next to that is surrender to the beauty of the natural world. So here I do see that the universe is calling for you to spend time in nature, to ground yourself and to reconnect with your power. I do feel like you've kind of given up on a lot of your creativity. That artistic side of you has kind of suffered. And I do see that the universe is telling you to get out into the natural world to regain that aspect of yourself, because this is something that has been within you for so long, ever since you knew about it. And I do feel like you haven't been creative for a while, and so you're being called to get that creative power back. Right now we are in quarantine and isolation, so it is a kind of tough to get out, but I do want to tell you that you don't have to go like to the beach or to the forest or to the lake or anything. You can actually just go into your backyard or your front yard and just sit there for a while and be in nature and be with nature. I have 2 trees in my backyard that I'm so in love with. These trees, just hearing them rattling in the wind and hearing them at night, it just feels so weird how good it feels to me. I don't even understand why, but I do feel like you are going to have these kinds of connections with nature too. It awakens your passion. It ignites that creativity within you. And I really feel like you need that. And the card we have next to that is Voyage of the Heart. Love flows through you and to you. So it's this time in nature is really needed for you to start to regain connection with your heart, because you've suffered something in your heart chakra area where when somebody says something negative or criticizes you in any way, you get very stubborn and defensive and you feel like somebody's kind of taken your power away. So you're being called to, I do feel like that's something that stemmed from your childhood, okay? And it is something that you are in the midst of releasing right now. You're kind of questioning a lot of things. You're wondering why things affect and trigger you the way that they do. So you are like, your mentality is shifting. If you see the moon in her face, the moon is our emotions, the mysteries of how we feel and connecting with, you know, our emotional side, our feminine side. So that is something that is occurring in your life right now, is you're connecting with your emotions, questioning them, diving deep into them. But sometimes when we are too much in our head, when we are in this journey, we kind of get consumed by it. And it's very important for us to ground our energy, because if we have way too much energy in our mind, our third eye chakra and our crown chakra, that's when it's too much energy up there, and it's just, you become kind of confused. You may be feeling lost. You might be feeling all over the place, scatterbrained, mental fog. So it's very important when you feel those emotions and those things to ground yourself. So that's why you're being called to work with nature, because grounding yourself means connecting back with Mother Earth, connecting back with the earth, so that all of your energies are balanced, you know? So ground yourself, spend time in nature, trees, maybe if you want to go for a walk around your house, of course, practice social distancing. Yeah, like we like to take our dogs for a walk lately, and there's some parks near our house. Of course, we practice, you know, social distancing and all of that, but it's really nice for your mind because it feels like all of that energy in your mind kind of gets dispersed throughout your whole body. So not only do you feel the energy in your mind now after the walk or after connecting with nature, but you feel it in your root chakra too. So your whole body feels it physically, mentally, and emotionally. If you ever notice after a nice walk, after like gardening, after doing something that connects you with earth energy, you feel different. So you're being called to really work with that energy. Another thing I see here is the 9 of Wands. This is a card of recognition of somebody like, or not somebody, like a group of people giving you the recognition you need for your talents, for your creativity, really your skills and your talents, and like your art, your creativity is going to be recognized. So you have this journey where you are connecting back with the artist within you, and you will be recognized for it. The card we have next is the King of Swords. So here we have someone holding a sword in their hand and looking straight forward. So you're gonna conquer something very creative, very artistic. Now I do see it doesn't have to really be like artwork, like painting or drawing. It could be, I don't know what it is, but something that you really, really love to do. I almost see that it did stem in your childhood, and you're gonna make an income off of it, almost like a side gig or something, or make a business out of it. The next thing I see here is to soak in a bath. So you're also being called, like, emotions. There's so much water in your reading. So a lot of you dealing with emotions that were shoving your creativity down, suppressing your creative side. So those are all coming out, and you're dealing with them, and you're being called to also, baths or showers are very cleansing. And I see that you don't get a lot of time to get inside of your own head. You won't let yourself. You keep yourself busy and distracted, or your thoughts kind of spiral into negativity. So baths or waters are something that you're being called to work with more, so that you are alone, completely alone, and you can get inside of your head with no distractions, no outside influence. You're just there with yourself. It's cleansing, it's relaxing, and it's calming. So use crystals and candles in your baths. Use bath salts, use essential oils, use flowers, you know, use scent that you like. I'm actually coming out with bath salts in my shop within the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, when you do this for yourself, you're going to start to align your life and shift energy where it needs to be and where it doesn't need to be. So what is not aligned or needs to change? The only way that you can get inside of your head to see these things is if you silence your head and get into your emotions. Remember, water is emotions. And then we have, do you see the lady in the sky, and her third eye is open? Her third eye is the moon, and the moon is divine feminine energy, and divine feminine energy rules and governs our feelings and emotions. So you see how in your childhood you blocked off your feelings and emotions. You know, it's hard for you to get in touch with them. It's hard for you to understand them. It's hard for you to communicate them. So you are being called to step into more water, step into nature. It's going to bring out your emotions and help you deal with them and help you align with the good ones. And the last card we have here is to have faith. Trust your faith in this situation. So listen to yourself. Don't be influenced by outside voices. You know, whatever anybody has ever said to you that was negative, it's time for you to release it and let it go and come back to your full power and realize your full potential, because you will be recognized for your skills and talents. So that's kind of what's going on right now, is you're connecting back to that childhood self that was so good at things, but you're also learning to take criticism, and you're learning not to get defensive at criticism, and you're learning how to work with good constructive criticism. So have faith in yourself. You lost faith in yourself. And you're on the journey back to regaining faith in yourself. Butterflies represent rebirth, and also courage. Butterflies actually drink the blood of dead corpses. I don't know where I read that or who told me that, but I don't know why that popped into my head right now, but I do see that kind of an energy within you where you'll suck the energy out of what you need to suck it out of when you need to. Like, that's the courage that you have. You're very like a wild spirit, like a free spirit, but you have kind of conformed, and you're being called to release that, the way that you've suppressed yourself. So rebirth, your free spirit is coming out, your creativity is coming out, and cookies and cream, the blending of, you know, sweetness and the blending of two different aspects. It's blending. So I feel like the reason you were so drawn to cookies and cream is because you're blending your childhood self with your adult self in a way that aligns, in a way where you feel your power, in a way where you get recognized, in a way where you're grounded, but also your mind is healthy. You're able to pinpoint and understand and deal with your emotions, and you're gonna thrive in a very big way when it comes to your art, whatever that is. So if you guys want to book a full reading with me, you can do so on my Etsy store. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you really, really soon. Bye. For everybody that picked card group number 3, or the Reese's White Cream or Recess White Cream, let's go ahead and get your reading done. Okay, the first card we have here is Surrender Fear. Right next to it, we have Surrender Negative Thinking. So there's something that happened within your childhood that created a lot of fear and negative thinking within your mind. I do feel like it's almost like your dominant thoughts have to do a lot with fear and negativity. And this is something that you have carried with you since your childhood. So it's very hard for you, or it's been really hard for you to break out of it. You have to try very, very hard to think positively, to look on the bright side, to not be afraid of things, to experience new things, to come out of your comfort zone. These things are hard for you. The next card that I see here is Cleansing Waters. So purification activates vibrant life force. And then we have Unknown Territory. You're exactly where you need to be. This is so crazy. Okay, so the energy of your childhood I see was like frantic and fiery, and I don't know, maybe you experienced a lot of fighting, maybe you saw a lot of fighting, you saw something traumatic, but it's definitely something that was very rage and fire filled and very like anger filled. So whatever happened, it had to do with those things and those emotions, and whatever you experienced just created a lot of fear of the unknown. You're very afraid to come out of your comfort zone. Even if you know the outcome of coming out of your comfort zone is good, you're so latched onto your comfort zone, you're so afraid to leave it because you're so familiar with it, you feel safe in it, that you're terrified. It's almost like paralyzing. And I do see that a cleansing needs to happen. So what that means is take more baths, take more showers, connect with water energy. You can cleanse yourself by using sage, Palo Santo, cleansing oils, black obsidian crystal, black onyx, black tourmaline crystals. You can sprinkle salt around your house. You can take a bath with cleansing oils. Like, there's so many ways you can cleanse yourself, but I do see a calling for you to cleanse yourself because your life force has been affected since you were a childhood. What that means is our life force is basically that divine God or goddess energy that is within us, and yours has been suppressed with fear and negativity. So cleansing needs to happen so that you can cleanse all of that away. Sometimes, you know, I do feel like you're going through a spiritual awakening right now where you are awakening. As we have the card right here is awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being. So you're waking up into this new way of being where you're not going to be so afraid of leaving your comfort zone, so afraid of venturing out into the unknown and into something new. I feel like you don't even allow yourself to try new food. Like, you're very stuck in your ways, and there's a reason for that. Sometimes we act or behave certain ways in our adulthood that actually goes so deep and goes so back into our childhood, and we don't even know, we don't even realize it, we don't even understand it. So I do see that, you know, you're awakening and you're releasing this negativity and this fear that was suppressing your mission on earth. Like, you are a different kind of a being, and I feel like you always felt that too, that you were different, that your mind is different, your likes and your interests are different. You're just different, you know. You don't like the normal things that little kids like. You always were the outsider. You know what I see is when you were a kid, you weren't always this scared of things, of, you know, something happened that made you feel like an outsider, and it gained a huge hold of your mind to where you stopped exploring, you stopped thinking new thoughts, you stopped looking at the good, you stopped giving into your passions, you stopped being a kid. Like, you stopped allowing yourself to have fun, you stopped allowing yourself to create, you stopped allowing yourself to play. I don't know what happened, but it's pretty heavy. So what the message for you here is that it's not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. This is just something that was a part of your journey, and you are awakening to it. You're becoming aware of so much of these things, but a cleansing does need to happen, and watch your energy shift. You will gain control of your mind back, which you're going to start thinking about the things that you want, the things you want to experience, the fun things you want to do. What I also see for you is to create a bucket list, like write down a bucket list. And then also the Reese's Pieces, or the Reese's chocolate here, it's not the regular one. It's not the chocolate with peanut butter. This is white chocolate with peanut butter. So what this tells me is the reason you pick this is everybody's used to one thing, right? Everybody's used to that chocolate with the peanut butter, and all of a sudden this new thing comes out. And I do feel like when you were a child, you would be so drawn to something like this, where you know something as one thing, and then a new version of it gets introduced, and you're just like, I have to try it, I want to try it. So that's an aspect of you that I do see coming back, and with cleansing, you're going to get that aspect of yourself back where you're not the outsider anymore. The number 5 is the number of change, so I do see that that is going to be changing in your mentality, where you feel like the outsider, and you will allow yourself to try the new versions of the things you've known all your life, if that makes sense. So definitely releasing a lot of the old from your mind is happening that stemmed from your childhood, that made you afraid to live your life, like really live your life. You're so afraid that you wouldn't even let yourself enjoy or live. Now, if you've seen this card, the little boy is looking through the fence, and he feels like an outsider. He feels neglected. He feels left out, not realizing that the chains are open, and all he needs to do is walk through it. And I find that very profound, that it's sitting right under the cleansing card. So definitely there are some energies and some blockages right there. But with cleansing, I do feel like you're gonna push that energy out and away, and you'll be able to push that fence right open, because the chains are open. Like, I do see a lot of the fears and stuff are in your head. They're in your head, and so you are coming out of that. You are a free spirit, as we see with the bird here, and opportunities are like waiting in line for that free spirit that is within you, but you have to release that free spirit, and that's kind of what's happening. Okay. Another thing that I do see here is build strength and connect with your womb. So your sacral chakra has suffered, and sacral chakra is our, our fears, our confidence. Sacral chakra is our creativity, our trust, and how creative we are, how much we allow ourselves to play in life, how much fun we allow into our life, how safe do we feel to have fun. So these are all the things that were affected, and I do see a healing of your sacral chakra. I also see that you're being called to build more strength, not only in your physical body, but it's going to help your third eye chakra and your crown chakra. Her hair is purple. Purple is the color of our crown chakra, and it rests above our head. Our third eye chakra is our third eye. So here you're being called to do something physical, a physical activity, because it's going to also cleanse you and help your mind get out of this rut that actually stemmed from your childhood. So what this means is when I get this card to build strength, my thoughts automatically go to, I need to do more yoga. I need to do more gardening. I need to take more walks. And for me, cooking and cleaning is also building strength because I'm moving around. You know, I'm picking things up, putting things away, wiping things down, or creating a meal, building strength by creating a meal, you know, creative energy helps you build strength as well. So paint, draw, like whatever it is, do something physical, because it's really, really going to help you open up your sacral chakra and help you heal on this journey that you're going through as well. Dance with life. So we have do something to change your energy. Yes, confirmed. So you're being called to do something to change your energy. Do something physical. Cleansing is needed, and it's going to help you walk through the door that is open for you, but you're so afraid to walk through it because whatever you experienced during your childhood. Okay, the next card that we have, because I did these, I was jumping around and I felt like I needed to jump around in this reading, which is interesting because it says do something to change your energy. So jumping, you know, you're active, physical. It's interesting for me. The next two cards we have here is the Nine of Wands with the King of Wands. Inspiration, creativity, Queen of Pentacles. You're moving up. Do you see how she's floating up and these beings are going up? He's looking up. Oh, wow. Up, rising, ascending. So you're awakening in a very, very, very profound way. And it feels like you're being cracked open from the inside. Like a tower moment where your beliefs, you're questioning your beliefs, you're questioning everything. And sometimes when you question everything, this moment of confusion and feeling lost can come about. But the universe wants you to know this is all a part of your journey. You're not lost. You're not confused. You're exactly where you need to be, and you have the wisdom of your ancestors. Owls represent wisdom and knowledge from the universe, from the ethers, from our ancestors, from our spirit guides. So open yourself up because the messages are there and they're waiting for you to open yourself up to them. The Nine of Wands, something you've been working really, really hard on is coming into fruition. I do feel like there's something that you really wanted in your childhood. You really wanted to either achieve, obtain, you wanted to feel it, you wanted to have it, whatever it was, you're gonna get it. It's coming. Like as soon as you can tap into these energies that can allow you to open that door and to step into the unknown and allow yourself to release negative thinking, you're going to allow the walls to come down so you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. Also, you're being called to please enjoy yourself more. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. You're such a hard worker and you don't allow yourself to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You don't reward yourself. Of course, that does stem from your childhood. You're not rewarding yourself. So you're being called to start to reward yourself. Dance with life. Do something fun, okay? Because you're ascending, you're rising, your energy is rising. Create a bucket list. Everything you want to be doing. You have to start to shift your energy, change your energy, and start looking at new things, okay? Start looking at your life not as the outsider, but looking at all the opportunity and all the things you can do. This is your life. It doesn't belong to anybody else. Take your power back and experience it by dancing and not through fear, okay? So the next cards that we have here to end your reading with are Love Endures and Miracles and Blessings. So again, looking upwards. Opportunities are coming to you because you are surrendering this deep, deep fear that was created inside of you in your childhood. That created a lot of negative thinking towards things you even liked, things you wanted, negative thinking towards the blessings in your life. So that's something that definitely is coming out of your mind. Number 5 is the number of transformation and change. So it's happening. And it's happening in a very heavy way. It's happening very quick. It's happening kind of chaotic, I do see. But it's happening to awaken so much good within you. Love endures. Love does not give up or lose faith. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. I see that you also had a lot of negative thoughts and fears when it came to love. So that's also changing. Love endures. I do see some of your relationships getting very, very strong through this healing process. And miracles and blessings, everything has its gift. So what I get from these 2 cards is there's a lot of miracles and blessings and opportunities. Birds represent opportunities, remember? And they are right in front of you. They're waiting for you to open yourself up to them. Open the doors and cleanse away what needs to be cleansed away so that you can walk into the unknown, because that's where the opportunities are for you. There's so many. Also, one thing that I did not even realize is there's a dragonfly right there. Dragonflies are symbols of our ancestors or people that we love that have passed away. So I do see that that's something that is in your life right now. The energy of an ancestor or a loved one that has passed away is there to help you and guide you, but you got to open yourself up to it. So if you like smell some things, or you know, you just I don't feel a presence, I do really see that it's somebody that it really loves you and cares about you and wants to really let you know and tell you that it's okay for you to have fun. It's okay for you to enjoy yourself. It's okay to walk forward and not be afraid in doing so. So I do hope that this reading gave you clarity and guidance. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to book a reading with me, go ahead and do so on my Etsy shop, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye. For everyone that picked card group number 4, or the white Kit Kat, let's go ahead and start your reading. So we're gonna get into our childhood. Surrender worry. Okay, this is really interesting that we have surrender worry right next to surrender your need to always be right. So in your childhood, I see that you were always that child that was overthinking. Your mind was way beyond your years, very mature for your age. You have a mind of like an old soul, and it showed in your childhood. You're very mature beyond your years. You expressed yourself differently. You thought about things that regular kids would not really think about. You had worries that like regular kids wouldn't have, these worries and stressors, and it made you develop this need to be right. And here's why. So it's like this need for control. Like you have to be right because your mind was so like almost overdeveloped. Like you would just know things and understand things that other children would not. And so you would always want to be like, if you do that, like if you run too fast, you're gonna fall down. And you knew that, and like other kids your age wouldn't perceive what you would perceive. And so you would always be like that child that had to be right, or you know, the kid that nobody really wanted to hang out with because you were too serious. Yeah, you kind of like, for those kids, you would kill the fun, because your type of fun would be something different. It'd be a little bit more evolved. So I do see that that's something that was going on within your childhood. Now, this kind of created an atmosphere around you that you felt like you couldn't connect with people, especially your own age. And you just didn't see eye to eye with people your own age, maybe your siblings, your cousins, you know, children you went to school with and stuff. You never really connected. And you always did your own thing. You were kind of like by yourself a lot, and you like really believed in the things that you thought about, and the things you value. Like, you were very grown up as a child, and for that reason, I do see that you spent a lot of time kind of alone, with a lot of stress and worry and fear. Like, you just thought about a lot. Now, the next two cards we have right next to that is answering the call and embracing enthusiasm. So as a kid, you never really allowed yourself to play. You never allowed yourself to have fun. And I do see that you were kind of sheltered as a kid too. So all of those things definitely took a toll on you. You developed a lot of mentality where it's that sheltered mentality where you kind of did not have a chance to explore a lot of things. You didn't have a chance to play. You didn't have a chance to experience a lot of things that little kids would experience. And for that reason, you kind of stayed in and stayed sheltered, and you looked at the outside world, but you never really experienced it. You never got to play with it. And that's something that is in your adult life affecting you, because it's time for you to let yourself play. It's time for you to realize you're an old soul, and that's okay. You have knowledge and wisdom beyond your years, and that's okay. You're different, and that's okay. Now, this need that people like have made you feel like you always have to be right, or you're like weird or whatever, you're not weird. Like, this is something that is a part of you that is been with you for lifetimes. It's just ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom. And when you're a child, you don't know what to do with that. But now that you're coming into your adulthood and you're questioning so many things, you're realizing so many things, you're experiencing so many things, the universe kind of wants you to know that it's time for you to answer the calls. That, like, the time is now for you to step outside of that sheltered lifestyle, that comfort zone, and embrace your life. Start to experience, start to live, start to have fun. It's okay for you to do that. The lady here is like, she has butterflies on top of her hands, and there's like magical energy coming out of her hands. So you have the knowledge, and you have the energy, you have wisdom, very like old school, no, what do I want to say? Old soul type of vibes that are actually very instilled within you. They are a huge part of you, and it's time for you to embrace it. You don't have to be embarrassed about it. You don't have to think that it's something negative. It's something beautiful. And I do feel like you're coming into this new form of being where you accept it. Not only do you accept it, but it's actually going to show you so much of the world, so much beauty in the world that you didn't let yourself experience. So the next two cards that we have here is, oh, by the way, butterflies are a symbol of transformation. Butterflies are a symbol of rebirth. So this is something that is occurring in your life where there's a transformation happening, where you're going to be stepping out of your comfort zone and leaving that childhood worry behind. You know, the childhood traumas behind. And I do feel like a lot of these childhood traumas came from other kids your age. So the next two cards we have here is sing and sound healing. Singing. This is interesting because it has everything to do with your throat chakra. So your throat chakra, I do feel like, has suffered and been struggling since childhood. When our throat chakra is blocked or off or weak, then we have a lot of, we have a hard time expressing ourselves, communicating, getting our thoughts across, talking, stuff like that. Everything with our throat chakra and talking, you struggle with. So I do see that that's something that is changing. 4 plus 5, 45 is 9. So if you go into numerology, 4 is the number of your root chakra, which governs how safe you feel, how stable you feel, your trust in your relationships and your trust in life. 5 is the number of transformation. So that aspect of your life is transforming. And if you add these together, it's the number 9. It's transforming in a way where number 9 is the death of something. So releasing something so that something new can come. I do feel like the new is waiting for you right outside the door. And you're in the process right now of removing the clutter in front of the door so you can open the door. and start to express yourself in the way that you want to. Start to speak your mind the way that you want to. Another thing that I do see is sound healing. So you're being called to use sound to heal yourself. You are already going through this period of healing. Now, using sound is going to amplify the healing. It's going to push the blocks that are in the middle or between you and healing. It's just going to get rid of any stagnant or dull energy that you have between you and healing from your childhood. So use sound, singing bowls, music, frequencies, megahertz. You can... Sound is not just like music. Sound is also put something on in the background while you're doing something. For me, when I'm cooking and cleaning, I like to have an audiobook going, or I like to play podcasts or YouTube videos that really fill my mind with good things, you know? So it's like, just even though I'm cleaning or I'm doing something, in the back of my mind, my subconscious is absorbing all that information that I'm feeding it while I'm doing something. You know what I'm saying? So sound doesn't really have to be just music. It could be words. It could also be nature, the sounds of the ocean, the sounds of thunder, lightning, whatever it is, whatever calms you. Use sound to heal you. Incorporate more sound into your life. I would really recommend getting a singing bowl because it changes the frequency of your chakras. It changes the frequency of your energy. It's a beautiful, beautiful tool to use for healing using sound. The next card we have here is Unbound. And this is releasing old soul patterns and contracts and past lives. Oh, this is very deep. Okay, so that, remember how we talked about in your childhood, you knew things, you had this ancient knowledge, and like, you're an old soul, right? And I do see that you're now releasing yourself from just past life things that kind of came with you in this life, but maybe you were too young to heal it or too young to get rid of it or let it go. And now you're in your adult life, you're going through this journey right now where you're releasing all of the things that don't align with your current life that came with you from your past life. So the card we have next is the Ever Unfolding Rose. Here it says cracked open. It's happening for you and not to you. So what you're going through right now, you're blooming. You are blooming. And like, for a seed to sprout out from the ground, it has to be cracked open. Otherwise, it's not gonna sprout. So we can water it, we have to feed it, we have to nurture it and take care of it so that it sprouts. So it cracks open and it sprouts. So, you know, we see the fruits of our labor. So that's kind of what's going on with you, is you have to feed yourself good things. You have to feed yourself positivity and fun things, sound, expressing yourself. Feed yourself with good things right now, because it's gonna help you unbind yourself from the past and the old, from your past life, from your childhood, from all the things that don't align with you. Those are all, you're being released. Now, it's very interesting to me that the Hanged Man card is right next to the Ever Unfolding Rose, and then we have these cards right here. So the things that are preventing you from letting go of this, like, this feeling that you weren't accepted in childhood, the feeling that you were different in childhood, you have guilt over it because you felt like you were different. Maybe you felt like your parents or, you know, your siblings had to endure like teasing or whatever because of you. Maybe you feel like, you know, because you were different, your parents got divorced, whatever happened, you blamed yourself for something, and you blamed yourself because you were different. So that's something that you're releasing. Okay, the number 9, you're exhausted. You are exhausted of pining away at things that happened in your past and your childhood. And this could go deeper to past lives even. So give yourself a break. You are unfolding and you are blooming and you're being cracked open for your own good, to get out of this sheltered mentality and enjoy and embrace your life and sing and heal and unbind yourself. stop looking at the past, and you have to move forward and look at the future, and look at the future in good ways, okay? Now, we also have the going with the flow card. So this whole journey that you're going through right now, you're going to enter this phase. This card is completely overtaken with water. Water symbolizes our emotions. In tarot, water, the cups are all about our emotions. So you're processing your emotions, you're healing your emotions, like you're being aware of them, you're confronting them. And it's all leading to this place where you're gonna feel so with the flow and peace and balance within you. And purification. I do feel like you were drawn to the white Kit Kat. White is the color of cleansing and purification, newness. Now, if you see, the Hanged Man is all about changing your perspective, changing your perception. So I do see, like, do you see the rain? So purification, rain is cleansing and purifying. So you're changing your mentality, you're shifting your thoughts now to a better place that is gonna allow you to embrace happiness into your life. Something I don't think you've allowed yourself to do for a really long time. And you're just exhausted about it. Like, you're exhausted with it and you're done with it. You know, you don't want to feel like all these people are pulling and tugging at you because you're different. Now you're just going to accept who you are, accept that you're different, and you're going to flow with that energy into pure bliss. And the last card we have here is simple acts of kindness. Kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you. This is really interesting because I do feel like you kind of stopped doing nice things for people. You stopped letting people in. You just stopped connecting with people or with nature or with animals. You kind of just really isolated and sheltered yourself. And with this purification and cleansing and this whole journey that you're being led on, you're going to start to want to do things for yourself, for animals, for nature, for humanity, because of this ancient knowledge you have, because you're an old soul, because you're different, and because you just sense things and know things. You're going to know exactly what you need to be doing. These acts of kindness, they're going to come to you in spurts of channeled messages. Yeah. This is a beautiful, beautiful reading. And so I hope that this gave you a little bit of guidance and clarity. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to book a reading with me, you can do so on my Etsy shop, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.